Yo, so just a small update. This channel is going to be doing a lot more Grand Blue Fantasy content. That's like it. If that's all you're cared about is like the talking part of this. And also, if you're going to be listening to this video is probably going to be kind of long and kind of rambly. So you might want to put this in the background and just pop in like every now and then. I don't think this is one of those videos where you got like look at the screen to see anything interesting because not much is going to be happening. Because I'm mostly just going to be talking through my Grand Blue Fantasy journey. Like one more thing before anyone who's just clicking on this video to see what I'm talking about is doing. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos on this channel where I just talk about random stuff, like personal stuff, while I like play like Melty Blood or whatever. Like I'll be doing like a Melty set and I might be talking during the set or whatever. It's going to be help practice my commentary and just help talking, because I don't really like posting like just set VODs with no commentary or whatever on the channel, and just it just doesn't feel good to me. So I want to like do a little bit something a little more transformative with the gameplay, like maybe do guides a bit, maybe do like more VOD reviews, stuff like that, because I don't mind doing those and uploading those. But when I just do right like if I play versus Alps and I upload the set, it's like it feels lazy to me. Like yeah, I come back to it later and do like VOD review, but if I upload that publicly, it feels like there should be a little bit more to it. Like it doesn't need to be more, but I feel like most people will get what I'm saying. I'll probably start saving like the VODs like unedited in like a separate folder on my 2 TB hard drive, and just upload them like unlisted or whatever, so people who don't like me talking over them can just listen to that instead. But that's it. If you're just care about the state of my channel or whatever, I'm still gonna be uploading stuff. I'm still gonna be uploading Melty. I'll probably upload a couple of Uni 2 stuff because I want to try that game out on launch. I will definitely be uploading Relink when that game comes out in like 10 days. I am going to be fiending that game. I'm going to be playing with my Grand Blue Fantasy friends, my Melty Blood friends, my Dragalia Lost friends who still stuck around after that game hit the bucket, unfortunately. My Counterside friends, I'll be coming back to that game too. I probably will never post Counterside content on this channel though, because I find that game like absolutely boring to watch. It's like it's one of those games that's okay to play, but when you're watching someone else play, it's like it's not interesting. So that's it. So if you're only here to listen to me talk about my channel or whatever, or you're like, what the heck? This isn't Melty Blood. Only 3 minutes. That's all you had to listen to. You can leave now, because what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna talking about why I even play Grand Blue Fantasy. Because this game is important to me, way more than any random gacha game has any right to be important to me. So I just want to talk about it, frankly, probably for like 20-30 minutes, just going through my account history, my thoughts on the game, etc., etc., and my personal feelings on this game. I might do one of these for Melty Blood, because I've been playing that game for almost 3 years now, and that game also means a lot to me for completely different reasons. But man, I feel like after I farmed Alanine in like the mines like 2 days before his Tails event comes out, I'm feeling myself in this game a little bit. So first things first, why do I even play Grand Blue Fantasy? Uh, that's okay. So if you look through my channel VODs for whatever reason, let me, I could do it in here. The odds that there's, I can just do it in this tab. YouTube. I swap to this, and put this up. This should be fine. If you go through my YouTube, you're gonna see a whole bunch of random stuff. Stuff like Toontown. I think the first video that I posted on this channel was like a Toontown rewritten video back in 2010. I was like 8 at that time. Then huge drought. Then I did Yokai Watch Wibble Wobble for 2-ish years. Yeah, 2 years. Then that game shuts down in America, and I moved to Dragalia Lost. I played that game. I don't upload any videos for it. I think I uploaded one video for it, and that game is super important to me for a lot of the same reasons Grand Blue Fantasy is. But during a period of time shortly after, I think the not the Agito. Right after them, I think it was the demons. I can't remember the name of the sect of the 6 bosses that introduced Curse of Nihility. So what that was a debuff that was inflicted very frequently that pretty much removed all buffs, because the devs realized that a lot of their broken characters that were like bad for the balance of the game, that they refused to nerf earlier and they didn't catch right off the gate, they were mostly reliant on blatant BS buff stacking to like obscene levels, like stacking 200 defense, a bunch of heal buffs, and a bunch of energy and stuff. Energy was sucked, but it's still a buff. So they're like, okay, what if we made a boss that just dispelled all your buffs and made it so that as long as you had a debuff on you, you couldn't use any buffs? And it was awful. If like, yeah, it prevented the meta from being around like 2 characters who were super busted, but it also meant like a lot of the other characters that were like mid or okay or bad, they didn't work like at all. They were bad before, but with the debuff on them, they were like complete dog water. No one could use it, and that ticked me off, because a lot of my characters that I liked one of the super broken characters, because I was always like a Cleo fanatic during Dragalia Lost, but I also liked characters in Fire that were like Chrom. I liked using Chrom a lot. Marth was broken on release, but he was like okay afterwards. He was always okay or good. And I always liked using Yuden even before his FOB spiral. But like after that Curse of Nihility thing, I was just like, the game was already kind of souring me on some parts, so I was like, man, I should play something else. Back then, I didn't have like a laptop or whatever, I just had a phone, so I was looking for like a phone game to play, and issue is most phone games suck. They're not really meant to be played seriously whatsoever. So I heard about Grand Blue Fantasies, but I kind of figured Grand Blue Fantasy would be garbage or whatever, and it would be completely uninteresting. But a lot of my friends that played Dragalia Lost were also hyping up Grand Blue Fantasy, so I was like, it can't be that bad. Even if it's bad, it can't be complete dog water, so I'll just play Grand Blue Fantasy for a little bit. So I started in, I think, 2020. I wanted to say 2019 because I very clearly remember hearing about Vikala on release and discussing her on release. But my first SSRs are like February 2020, I think, and then Seeds of Redemption Free Eternal. So this has to be an account that started in 2020, that I started in 2020. Because you'll never see me paying money for a gacha game account, bro. That's to me, that's against the journey. I hate re-rolling as well. So what was I talking about? Yeah. So someone said I should start like either around Valentine's, and that the best time to start was New Year's, but I missed it. So I started Valentine's. I got lucky and I pulled these two back to back, and I got Zeta as my free SSR. And then like a month later, they announced a free Eternal, whatever. They said pick Sarasa, but I was like, I'm just gonna choose the character I like visually the most, and I chose Esser. So yeah, that's pretty much how I started. I didn't even expect to really like this game. Like, I was playing the game, quotation marks, but I wasn't expecting to like, actually stick with it for like more than like a month. And then the thing is, this is like the crazy thing. The thing that got me into Grand Blue Fantasy for real was like the story. The first 30 or so chapters are kind of like meh. They're super introductory stuff. They're basically showing up the world, and Grand Blue Fantasy is older. It's 12 years old. Not 12 years old. It's almost 10 years old. So back then, the story was like talk, fight monsters, etc., etc. So it was pretty bad in that regard, but starting from like Nihilgrand, I think this is like my third take of trying to do this video, so that's why I'm not fumbling over saying Nihilgrand or whatever. From there, it was really interesting. It got me super interested into the game, but from there, the battles that like the talk monster thing kind of stops a little bit, but there's still fights that you gotta do, and those are a lot harder than the ones that's from like earlier in the game. So you had to have like a half decent grid. Like by half decent, I meant like not complete garbage. So you had to play the game to play the story at that point. This was before like the story skip allows you to skip that arc and the beginning arc completely to like the very last arc, the current arc that's going on right now. Um, so since I was playing before then, I actually started like engaging with the quests and all the stuff like that. I did most of my dailies, so there's not really much for me to do. Although, what time is it, and what dailies have I not done? I'll just see that on later. I guess I gotta do my Belial and Bubs, but that's not important. So anyway, story. The story was harder, so I had to play the game. I had to like get weapons and stuff, and I found the gameplay loop surprisingly fun. I was not expecting to find it fun, but it was really, I don't know what to say. It was just pretty cool to play. And starting from that, I had a super lucky roll shortly after I was starting to get into the game. If I go to my earliest SSRs, I got a pull with 2 Grand Reinhardt's Fists. Where is he? Yeah, 2 Grand Reinhardt's Fists and an Agni Summon, all in the same roll. And I was like, this is a call from the heavens to play Go Primal Fire. Now, everyone warned me that this was a horrible idea and you don't go primal just because you got 2 weapons. And I was like, okay, but what if I work long term for it? And they're like, yeah, I guess you could, like, retrospectively justify your decision like that, but it would still be a very bad decision. And I was like, you know what? F it. I'll go Primal Fire. And that's how I got pretty much. That's how I started playing the game. Primal Fire is my favorite element. I don't really regret going Primal Fire, even though it's completely stupid for me to go Primal Fire at that point. But hey, you know what? I had lots of fun with the game that way. So I guess if we talk about how started the game, I guess we should talk about like my early game journeys, I guess, and just why I just love this game so much. Like, I guess the quickest way to explain why I like this game is to like boot up any Alanan setup and just the damage, bro. But the damage though that Alanan allows you to do. Alanan was the GOAT back then, and he's the GOAT now. What was I switching down for? Also, you're gonna have to excuse my garbage dagger. Actually, let me put the sound up, but let me just turn the volume down a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, okay, this should be fine. What was I doing? This is why. This is like one of the reasons I love Granblue Fantasy. Look at the numbers that are gonna show up on the screen. This is my favorite part of the game. Oh, those numbers! Oh, they're so big. I love it so much. It's so. Bro. Like this gameplay loop of just trying to get bigger numbers and just trying to build grids that allow you to do big numbers consistently to beat either to beat a punching bag to get bars or just to like do like high level content like Fa or like hexachromatic high mark or whatever. That stuff's so fun, man. Another reason I like the story, and I guess I like Alanan, is like I was like born into like a really strict Christian household, right? So how do I put this properly? The idea of a guy who was in a very strong faith but was using that to scam and deceive others and hurt people, who repents and betters himself and betters the world around him, jived way harder than it had any right to, especially considering that if you look at my characters from when I collected them, even though I like Frox more design-wise, and that's why I wanted to get her first, I got him first for meta reasons, and then I ended up really driving with him. Because he lets you get the funny big numbers on the screen really fast. But he also is just one of my favorite characters, like design-wise. I want to wear this outfit one day. One of these days, if I ever cosplay as anything ever, this is like the only cosplay I'd ever wear. It's so cool. So the idea of a priest, or I guess missionary or whatever, bettering himself and not being as big as D-bag is that jives so hard with me in ways that that cannot be explained. I like Frox too, but I like Frox the same reason everyone else likes Frox. She's very pretty. Honestly, a reason that I even went fire in the first place is that I looked like other than like just getting the two Grand Rhine Fist and the Agni. I looked at all the characters in fire. I was like, I like Tian. I like Frox. Alan, I didn't think he looked cool back then because I was I didn't know. I didn't know he had the sauce. Also, his FOB outfit is just godlike. I also have his regular summer outfit. That one is also amazing. Like, bro, like look at this out. Does it not show? Do I have to go to the outfits? Like, bro, look at him. He has that shit on. Ah, I love Alan, man. But what was I saying? I liked Zeta, like her FOV version at least. She got uncapped shortly after I started playing, which is cool too. I don't care for Percy that much. He's just there. I like Michael. I always knew if they were gonna make playable Primarchs, and I knew Michael. Michael's just. I like so many of the characters in Fire. I love the way that the element is like mostly just burst, and it has just enough sustain to survive, but still do huge damage. I also love the Ogi playstyle that Wilness introduced. I did not think I would like Wilness as much as I did. He's also like Alnan, in which I like. I didn't expect to find him cool, but bro, is he's just I love Fire so much. Speaking of Fire and like the elements, I guess I should just quickly during this video where I'm talking about stuff I like about Granblue, go over all the other elements as well. Water to me has always been the Ogi element, and the fact that it's now like a burst element with its 150 gold moon weapon is so weird to me. There's like no good way to explain it. That it's just like it's one of those things like when you play a fighting game and the character that's bad at launch and you stop playing shortly afterwards and then he gets buffed to top tier. It's just disorienting. I really like playing water with Kinoshige and just using dog in every setup, and I have a lot of the grands for water, but I was a little interested in going Varuna for a very long time, like about 2 years ago, but I decided I don't want to go back. I decided I liked Earth more. Earth, I'm missing a couple of the core characters. Like, I don't have Grand Sandy, but I guess he's like the big one that I'm missing. I have everyone else that's sort of important. I also have to tix Archangel Olivia, I guess, the new one. But that's not all that important. Well, she's important, but like, I could do that later. I don't even know what to feel about Earth as an element. I really, really like Uriel. I like running him and stuff. I like running Galleon and stuff. And I really, really want FLB 3.0, but I hate doing Angel Halo. It's one of those things where I will do Angel Halo. I'll grind stuff that I don't like in order to use characters I think would be cool and look fun to use. But like, man, do I really have to do Angel Halo for a couple of hours in order to unlock everything? Wind's always been my homie because my first SSR was this guy. So he's like, Wind's always been sort of cool to me. It's always been the magnet element that I feel like is pretty fun to play. I have like most of the core stuff. Like I sacked Summer Core after her rebounds, and then Ginaru. If I have Neo, I could go like Super Saiyan in this element, even Magna. But again, it's one of those Angel Halo things that I want to get Neon 3.0 and Seox all to 150. I don't really care about the rest, but well, those three and like Tian, I guess. Tian's at 110, but I have to. I have to get the. I have to do this. And the only thing stopping me from doing this is the fact that I don't have 500 dragon scales on me. It's so unfortunate. Okay, what was I saying? I want to do Neon because the Windburst stuff is interesting to me, but It's not an element I feel all that strongly about. Sort of like light. I got Florence because the burst setup was cool, and I can do the burst setup now, which is fun because I sacked this guy earlier, and yada yada yada. But it's like it's not like a super high element on my priority list of stuff to do cool stuff with. It's always just an element that I feel like light's like the easiest. It's usually like the free to play element, like light or wind, where if you can't do something with your main alley because you forgot, either you haven't been playing long enough to get everything, or you're just forgetting something, you can just queue up with light. Dark, dark is the villain element. A whole bunch of villains, all these. I really like Ilsa, probably like my favorite non-Chine character, but villainous element, I don't have most of the villain stuff for it though. Or do I? I think I do. I have Bowman. I stacked him randomly on some random board. I think the only thing I don't have is a Rush Goal. And I'm kind of conflicted on even if I even spend 150 gold moons on a Rush Goal. When Anniversary is about to come out, and I don't know if I can't see a Rush Goal ever being bad, and I have White Olsen, Bowman, and 100 Seahawks, so I can't. So it's not like I'll ever regret it, but like getting the meme Fire Lance is so tempting, especially since I have the meme Fire Katana. Like I had a choice between Ereshkigal and Higurashi, and I just chose this immediately, and it's so funny, bro. This weapon is, it's like my favorite weapon in the game. Like the only weapon I like more than this is probably like Fire Axe, like the Michael Axes, simply because it's it's PNS, so it's busted by default, but this charge attack is really fun to use as well. So that's my thoughts on all the elements. I guess my thoughts on the game should come next. Honestly, I sometimes people doom about Grand Blue Fantasy, and some stuff that they do does actually take me off. Like that blue paper fiasco. Like I have a whole bunch of blue paper stocked in the shop because while I do most of my Guild Wars, I don't. Sometimes I'm just not. Guild War is one of those things that you find a lot. Bro, let me turn off the volume because I don't want to hear In Your Eye Shy every single time I load up to the sound thing. Okay, so Guild War is one of those things that's fun, but only if you're invested enough because, or if you're using it as like a measuring stick of how much you've progressed in an element. And when I do that with my fire, Guild War is always like a super fun event. I don't even mind spending hours doing each day. But when I do it like with most of my other elements, they weren't like invested as my fire, so it was like, man, this sort of sucks. But I feel like my elements in general have improved to the point where I can have fun with Guild War and like any element as long as I know what element is up next. I think it's light advantage next, and I already have this set up. This is probably gonna carry me so much the next Guild War. Oh, bro, this is gonna carry me so hard. Yeah, this is probably gonna this is probably gonna make me enjoy Light Guild War for like the first time ever. But I just need to build up a 0 button. That's not complete dog water. So when it comes to Guild War, I feel like now my account's at a point where I can actually enjoy every single element of Guild War, even if and get top 90k and actually enjoy the event. Before it wasn't like that. I could only do like Fire Guild Wars and maybe now and then on like a Water Guild War, and everything else I would just dip and just not. I would barely play. I would 45 box if at like minimum and just not do anything else. But now I feel like this game is whack sometimes. It's kind of like my relationship with Dragalia, where I love, really, really, really love a lot of aspects of it, but then some parts of the gameplay turn me off so much. But it's at the end of the day, it's just I really love this game, and I feel like there's so little English speaking creators. Like I posted a comment under AJT's stuff or Ajit or whatever. I don't know how his name's pronounced, but he was making English speaking content for this game. And I was like, wow, I never realized how much I really want to hear someone speak about something I love in English and in English I understand. I was like, you know what? while I might not be the most reliable guy for Grand Blue Fantasy, outside of like one singular element that I'm sort of a fraud in, because your boy did not. I bought Dragon Quest 11 on the Steam sale, on the winter Steam sale, and I've been playing that for like a month. I am like 80 hours into that game on the third act. So when they were doing like the fire, this is characters. When they were doing this weapon, yeah, you. I was playing Dragon Quest. I got the wonder, and I did the fight to 150, and I was like, yeah, I forgot how much I hate Xeno Crucible. I forgot how much I hated the water and wind ones. I was just not play this event. The odds of this weapon being core are so low, I said, not looking at this skill. And now my fire is like goobed for months, because I probably have to pick this up on Annie when they do like the weapon ticks that you can choose a weapon for. I just have to get that one instead of like something else. I'm gonna feel so stupid in like 2 months if they don't allow us to do that. I'm just have to use not gangster knife. Where's my prom stick? Where is my prom stick? It shows up in my other elements. I have to FLB this. Yeah, anyway, I have to be a fraud and run the prom stick instead of like that. Yeah, I could do stuff for fire though. I like playing fire. I like testing stuff in fire. I just really love this element, but when it comes to other stuff, like I said at the very beginning of the video, don't expect anything. So I guess that's it, honestly. I just love talking about this game. I'll probably talk about it more. I'll probably post setups for it more. And thank you for those of you who are actually watching this far into the video, because it's 26 minutes of a dude rambling about a video game and in his whole life story. So if you actually stuck through it, or like listening to me talk about stuff I like, I should probably do one of these for Melty, like I said earlier. But thanks. Next time I do one of these though, don't worry, I will probably not be stupid and put like a notepad of stuff that I want to talk about through over here on the second monitor, and just talk about it more in depth. Thank you for those of you who have been watching this channel for a long time though. From the age of Yokai Watch Wibble Wobble to me playing Melty Blood seriously and being not bad, and maybe Grand Blue Fantasy is coming on the way. And I play Relink and other stuff on this channel, and I make $0, but I have a lot of fun while I'm still in school to get like an actual good job. I very much appreciate the people who actually watch anything I post. Like that video of that Grand Blue Fantasy video where I just posted like my Arcarum stuff. It wasn't like a fully set up thing for Arcarum, but it got like 100 views in like a day, and I was like, wow, the people show up for this game. And it's like, it was nice. Thank you, Grand Blue Fantasy community, for being, even though a lot of you are annoying. Oh, so many of you are annoying, but you're annoying in the ways I cannot tolerate and just enjoy. Also, I guess I should say this now, since I'm going to put this in the description as well. The OC that I've been playing in the background is Chained Echoes. Go play that game. I played that game in like February last year. 60 hours in it. Amazing RPG. Go play that game. Now I will finally stop the video and stop prattling on. Right now.